Derek Carr, and it's kind of funny because I look at him and I've always thought that he's got a lot of Dan Orlovsky in him. And I'm just curious. Every year he kind of has he'll have a really hot start and then he'll have multiple games where he kind of falls apart, doesn't look great. But I don't know why everyone's laughing right now.
I don't know
I think
either.
That's a pretty fair take.
It's a compliment, right?
It's a compliment.
Clearly, it's a compliment. But do you think we're going to get that this year, Dano, or do you think Clint Kubiak has kind of unlocked something in Derek Carr that he hasn't had for quite some time?
I thought you were on my team.
I am.
Did you see what Derek Carr just did?
Yeah.
Front runner for MVP.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, dude, I think, Clint Kubiak, obviously his dad, Gary Kubiak, longtime stud coach in the NFL, one of my favorite coaches I got to play for. I think Clint Kubiak is to Derek Carr what Bobby Slowick was last year to C.J. Stroud. Number one, he is constantly putting the defense to play hesitant and in conflict with putting him under center, using motion at the snap to kind of create some hesitation, force eyes to pay attention to it, play defense, make defenses both at the linebacker and defensive line level to just play a little sideways. I think number two, they're committing to protection with him. A lot of their play action passes last week were 7 or 8 man protection. You're making sure that you're giving him clean pockets. Like Micah Parsons, like in basketball where you hear, like, where's Micah on this one? He's front side. Dude, you got a tackle going out to Micah, and then you have a back going on an outside zone fake to Micah's hip. So that helps the tackle. Mm-hmm. That also forces just another body. So you're minimizing that best pass rusher. Shaheed is an absolute burner. So I think you're seeing, and D-Butt, this, like the splits, you're creating leverage for these guys. No hands-on at that wide receiver. He's head up on that safety. I think Derek Carr's got a ton of confidence in that right now.
Yeah.
And so I think, I'm obviously a massive fan of this system. It's the one I grew up in. I think all the great offenses in the NFL, basically outside of like Kansas City, run it. And the best thing is it forces every time a ball gets snapped, the defense plays with a question mark rather than an exclamation point.
So, yeah, that's what he meant by a lot of Dan Orlovsky.
Thank you.
The same system
Exactly.
and everything. And I will say that ball to Shaheed from Derek Carr, and obviously if Kamara.
It's Kamara.
Alvin.
Kamara. Alvin Kamara.
He said it however the hell.
Yeah, he did. That was a couple years ago. I don't know if we're still in that world, but Kamara, if he's going to play like that, obviously awesome. We've seen Derek Carr miss that throw.
Oh, yeah.
To Shaheed. But instead, this one is in a bucket. It's pretty crazy what confidence could do for somebody, even at the highest level. Derek Carr, at one point, was going to go get an MVP. Then a Christmas Eve game happened against the Indianapolis Colts, and his knee got twisted up like a chicken wing. Legitimately. We were there. That was not cool. He was a rocket ship at the time for everything. Then there's a little bit of a setback. Then obviously the way things ended with the Raiders, he goes down to New Orleans. Now he seemingly has everything that he needs and wants and feels his best, and then ow! Yeah, absolutely. Hitting the entire thing. It's like, Derek Carr, are we in prime Derek Carr time right now? Feels like it.
Carr's always been a good player, man. Like, the problem last year with them was...
Good, I agree. Good. Not great. Right? Like
good, fair point.
That is like the always been good. Was on the rocket ship to being like great with the Raiders. Gets injured. I think there's obviously a little bit of effect on that. Everything happens with the Raiders. Now it's like, Derek Carr, good quarterback. It's like, Derek Carr, great quarterback right now. Like, great quarterback.
What's the schedule coming? Do we have any idea? I want to see, I'm trying to think of a defense that I think is going to match up well with them.
Eagles.
Tampa's defense will match up well with them.
Well, Tampa, that's always a
divisional
battle. But it's like, we thought the NFC
Detroit's defense will match up well with that.
I think everybody was thinking the NFC South, like, bah. And then it's like Kirk Cousins doing it, Baker doing it, Derek Carr doing it down there. Now, Carolina's Andy Dalton.
He's going to do it.
Look at that. We just took a trip back in time almost down there in the NFC South, and they're all playing their best ball.
All those quarterbacks that you mentioned, Pat, all have the same scheme. They all come from the Shanahan tree. Baker, Kirk, and Carr, all Shanahan tree.
Okay. That's wild to think about.
Now?
Yeah, well, I saw that tree.
Basically,
I saw the tree. It is
massive.
pretty much everybody that's running offense in the NFL right now.